Yeah, against this right back, Charlie.
Energy. That's what you need on a Monday, people, man. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Yes, Arsenal, we lost to Spurs, but we still have our lives. You know, it is what it is. The beautiful thing about life and the greatest thing and the saddest thing, as I keep saying, is that it goes on. So, yeah, man, it's the start of the week. I know some people technically say Sunday is, but in my eyes, you know, it's a Monday. It's the start to the week. I hope you will have a great week. Crush your goals, move closer to your goals, dreams, hopes, and aspirations, whatever stage of life you're at. Obviously, we can't do any of that without good health. So I hope you've all got your health. And once again, people deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on who you are and wherever you are, people. Like I said, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I definitely think Arsenal need to sign better players, and we need to do a lot. I definitely feel, based off the last stream we did and things like that, you know, I genuinely believe only God can save Arsenal, because I do think there's a double whammy. I think we need signings, but then, you know, I think signings is only half the job. You know, if you buy a tool or you buy something, it's only as good as how you're able to utilize it. And I'm not going to lie, I see a manager that's not performing with some of the players that he actually has. I don't really see what we're doing. You know, I'll get into a lot of it in it, but I think right now we need to stop with the Aubameyang and Lacazette stuff. It's either or. Still don't know what's going on in midfield. Still don't know how we're actually trying to play out from the back. It's not evident what Arsenal are trying to do, and it's not going to look nice for Arteta. I did find his comments a bit, not condescending, but a bit ironic. He's talking about it's not about signings, it's about getting the best out of things. And what have we done all pre-season? What have we done last season? You know, we're coming into this season. Yeah, we might be third for clean sheets and things, but all the other defensive metrics are not good. You know, holding on to leads, man and game management. You know, the goals we're conceding from set pieces, all the goals we conceded in this preseason have been absolutely terrible. We're still no closer to knowing what our team is about. You know, we've got a bad bunch of players with some bad habits, and the ones that are good, you know, they can't change it by themselves. So there's a lot of problems, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You know, we're coming into this third for clean sheets, but defensively, we're not good enough. We're ninth for goals. You know, we're barely creating any chances. Yes, signings are a part of it. We need new signings. We need players who can create better, but you need to get the best out of what you have, or you need a system. Even if we sign Maddison, I'm going to be gassed as a fan. I hope it goes right, but can we confidently say that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal's team are going to get the best out of him? Or is it going to look like another square peg in a round hole, whether he plays as an 8 and a 10, when he turns and receives the ball in that 10 position and looks up and he sees no movement, when he's in the 8 position and there's a different partner for him every day? What the hell is going on in that regard? So we'll have to see. It's going to be an eventful season, people. Either way, you know, I'm not quite happy about the season being like that. I am happy that you know, I've got the fan base that you lot have. You lot always support the thing, and I'm looking forward to living the highs and lows, more lows than highs, as an Arsenal fan or just as a fan of football with you guys, people. So make sure you've hit the sub button, you're hitting the like button. 100 likes is the target. And then all of those things. Obviously, on that topic as well, folks, I'm doing a Football Manager live stream, 4:30 p.m. exclusive to Twitch. You will get uploaded at some point on YouTube, but if you want to see it there and then, you know what to do. So again, there's a lot of work for Arsenal to do, and for me to be this close to the season starting, I'm not asking for all the business to be done in terms of, you know, incomings and outgoings, but we're no closer to looking like a team. You know, somebody made a big song and dance about preseason, and again, all that matters is where we finish in May. So even if we did look good in preseason, it's nothing to write home about. I don't know what we're doing. You know, we've had this big song and dance of a preseason. Yeah, it was disrupted. We didn't go America and things, but what are we working on? There's still no chance creation. It's a bunch of naive players. Even if we just go off Chelsea and Spurs, for me, they're the two games that, listen, if we won, it's nothing to scream about. If we lose, it's nothing to cry about. But that's where I wanted to see us kind of look a bit better than in our first two games. That's where, definitely off the Chelsea game, what did we say? We looked like lambs to slaughter, very naive defensively and things like that. We then went a whole week and done the same things against Spurs, and we're lucky. You know, again, the post had a better performance than numerous of our players. If that post wasn't in top form, you know, we need a right back. That post probably could do a job. You know, if that post wasn't in good form, Dele Alli gets about 3-4, Son has a couple, and all of these sort of things, man. You know, again, we're only as good as the players we have, but it's also about utilizing what you have or showing us that. And I don't think Arteta has utilized the good players that he has to their full ability. I can't confidently say new players means we're gonna play better, but of course we need new players, and it's down for Arteta and the boys to prove me wrong in this regards. But that's where I feel we've honestly got this crazy double whammy, folks. But away from that, I hope you're all doing well and safe. What should I call that opening 5 minutes? We need new signings. Sorry, people. Out of them, I think I'll just call it that and then think of it later. So yeah, let me before I crack on with this Joe Willock stuff and this James Maddison stuff and whatnot. Big up to AFC Bell. Let me take in what you guys are saying, people. You guys should be fighting to bring Bernardo Silva to your club. I hope we are, but at the end of the day, bro, we're not gonna hear that from him. He's not gonna want to come. 22 million, we got lowballed again. Only Arsenal could have a lack of midfield goals, yet sell a guy who scored more than our midfield in half a season. Feels already like another deal we'll regret. Who knows, man? I wish Joe all the best if he does leave. I want him to develop and them things, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't think the club can win because certain people were saying Joe Willock isn't good enough. And now you see the money and there's an issue with that regards. We should have got 30. We should have got this without understanding the dynamics. His contract has about 2 years to run. The man should be leaving. He shouldn't be the first on the names of the list to go, but I'm not as against it. As long as you've got a sell-on clause and it can rise over 25 million, it is what it is, people. He might get better, he might not. What we need to do is reinvest. And Joe Willock right now is not the future of this football club. One day he might be. I do think there's some legit in what you're saying, Charles. Not to you, but I don't think anybody can win because certain people are gonna cry that if he stayed and we didn't take the money and it went left. Obviously, if he develops, there's going to be an issue. And to be honest with you, it could be a bit like Martinez, but for someone who went for half a season, has made himself a 20 million pound player. That's what the academy is there to do. Is at times make profit for the team. I'm not going to lie to you. We might sit here one day and say, "Oh, what happened with Joe? This, that, and the other." But if you sign these hours and these Madisons, and just forget the star names, just somebody that's better than Joe Willock and someone that's able to partner Partey or do what Xhaka's done and ultimately elevate this midfield, I'm not going to give a shit, pardon my language, but it's a necessary evil. The world keeps spinning. You bring in some bad boys, it is what it is. Certain people get lost, but I do 100% agree with you. And only time can tell. I wish Joe Willock the best, though, man. I'm not going to lie to you. He's been here. This is actually the only club he's actually played for. He didn't even play Sunday League. And, to grow in life, you've got to get out your comfort zone. And I feel he would have seen this Joe Willock a couple of seasons ago if he took the plunge and went. I think sometimes these lot have been a bit too passive in their futures, and I do think there's that luxury in that we've had a lot of Haaland boys hang around the side due to the weakness of where Arsenal is, and I think that aided some complacency, especially when we did have the Europa League when we did have the cup games and them things there. Minutes are currency, a little bit of football last season, to put it blunt. Guys that aren't Arsenal fans and girls that aren't Arsenal fans are talking about Joe Willock way more than any noise he's made at Arsenal. So I wish him all the best, but as long as it's reinvested, I don't care. I don't care about selling Willock if we sign a centre mid. Obviously, if we sit here and don't do the business, this is the thing. Like Joe Willock, I'm not going to say he's not on the transfer list. I think he's one of them if the right offer arrives. And obviously, he wouldn't be my first guy to leave because we've got people that earn a lot more than him that haven't got the little luxury of at least saying we can see what you do in the future. I don't know his money and I don't like to watch people's money, but I'm pretty sure he's not on the salary like historically, Mkhitaryan and Kolasinac and Ozil and Willian and all of these overpriced players or overpriced wages have been, and some are still in the squad, Willian and Kolasinac. I know Willian, like Joe Willock, wasn't in the match they scored yesterday, so there could be some movement in that regards. They would have been it, but at the same time, Joe Willock's an attractive, out of all the players we could sell, there's a bit of an attraction to Joe. He's young. He's shown a little bit at Newcastle. There's scope to grow. There's scope for resale value for Newcastle as well if he develops. Nobody's trying to buy El Nene. He has to stay here. No one wants Kolasinac. We're begging him to tear up his deal. Bro, it's complete suicide what we did with Willian. Only Arsenal could go through a scenario with Kolasinac, with Mkhitaryan, with Mesut Ozil, and I'm not being fair to all of them names I said, and then commit another overrated player or underpriced player or underperforming player to massive wages. You know, there's whole leap of mismanagement at this football club. And, you know, to be a week, well, not even a week, man, you know, 6 days now before the start of the season. Like I said, I'm not expecting everything to be done in terms of ingoings and outgoings. I'm not expecting to look like Barcelona historically in pre-season, but building blocks. See no building blocks on the tactical point of view. Again, Arteta, I'm no idiot. Of course, he's working on tactics and trying to do things. But to me, as a fan, based on these preseason games, I see the same nonsense we was doing last year. Couple that with, you know, underperforming players with a lot of bad habits, there's issues. I'm not going to sit here and turn on Pablo Mari, for example, people, because I think he's looked good in preseason other than yesterday. But it's like what I told you, in that fans start putting these players in positions that they can't fill, man. And no disrespect to Marie, it's more the fans. I've never seen a player that's played so small amount of games and such a small sample size be so rated by the Arsenal fan base. I'm not saying you can't rate him. I just can't. Man would talk like he's the best in the league, and like you see, he's shaky. When it gets to it, he's shaky. Like a lot of these players, they will play well when the times to come, they're shaky. And obviously, Marie's lack of pace and naiveties, like you saw yesterday, are going to be problems. Even the game we won against Chelsea, you know, everybody forget his penalty he gave away. He had a stinker. And I'm not going to sit here and be reactionary. As I said, out of these bad bunches, I think Marie's looked good in pre-season. So Marie and Ben White would be the guys for me to start. But again, it resets it because Holding might be fit. You might say Holding and Ben White. You know, Gabriel's apparently at London Coley, probably not going to be fit for Brentford. And even if he is it wise? You know, one thing I would like to learn from last season is sometimes lose a battle, but not the war. And what I mean by that is I think Arteta's gambled unnecessarily with players' fitnesses, like you saw with Xhaka, you know, to the point where he's picking up a recurrence of an injury in Villarreal, like he did against David Luiz. I would have saved David Luiz for that semi-final. Personally, I think the same with Thomas Partey as well. When we played Spurs, ironically, his first North London derby, the man weren't fit. We played him, he suffered a recurrence. I think that's where we're seeing naiveties. And this is the issues we have. So we'll have to see what's going on in that regards, man. But it's a madness of a season, man. It's going to be a madness of a season, man. Personally, I believe Joe Willock has played enough games for Arsenal's first team to be worth 40 million. I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're not wrong, Phil. I'm not saying you don't have a point. But to play devil's advocate to you, he's played a bunch of games. What's he done? You know? Out of all of them, and I know there's the English premium, so you're not wrong. And I would obviously like that. But what's, you know, are you trying to, if you're Newcastle, you're paying 40 million for him? I think 20 to 30, 25 to 30 is just about fair, in my opinion, because what's he done? He scored a bunch of, and I'm not saying this to criticize him. I'm saying it, you know, on a realistic thing. Like, man's been in Arsenal's first team for a minute. He's made more noise in this Newcastle team for half a season to the whole footballing world, not just Arsenal fans, than he's ever done. You know, he has played, you know, 60 odd times or something, I'm sure, off the top of my head. What's he done? He has scored some cup games, but what memorable games are there? I'm not saying there isn't, because if I start to think, there's been games Joe Willock has played very well. But, you know, for 40 million, I shouldn't have to scratch my head for it. You know, granted, I've seen 40 million spent worse, but I think we're reaching a bit with that one. You know, maybe if he has another full season, he bads it up again, would say it's too cheap. But, you know, I can't lie. I do, you know, I would prefer 30 million. I'd actually prefer him to go out on loan. But as I said, all options are open for me, whether it's lowballed or not. 25 million for a player that, even if we signed all the midfielders we want, is not going to feature too much. Might develop, might not. If you've got a sell-on clause, you've got a decent fee, it is what it is. And crucially for me, if you go and now sign other players, we can sit and talk about why Joe Willock ain't here. But man, I'm not going to care if our midfield is 30. If you see Maddison, Aouar, Partey looking good, you know, Lokonga growing, you know, Smith Rowe, and by God's grace, another number 10 all doing their thing. It's not that you're not going to care. We will sit here and have that debate about Joe Willock, but you get where I'm going, people. As long as you as long as you address the area, the elephant in the room, which is midfield, as long as Joe Willock is a means to an end, an unnecessary evil, it is what it is. And one thing I like about the club, as I keep saying, we might look back at Joe and say this is an L, which I think we might actually, for what it's worth. But one thing I've hated about the club, I can't sit here and be a hypocrite to you, Phil, in the sense of we sat here and we say the club's always half in, half out, which, let's be real, Joe Willock's form for Newcastle has kind of swayed that, but he was one of them like Maitland-Niles. 1 minute they're staying, then they're gone, then they're staying, then they're gone. I've always called for decisions in it. If you want to keep them, double down on them. If it doesn't work out, we have that debate or we move on. Obviously, you know, if you want to sell them, sell them. Don't be on selling someone and then he's staying and then he's going and then he's staying and then he's going. Kind of what you're seeing with the futures of Xhaka, Bellerin and Leno. I'm tired of that. And I think that's been there with a lot of young players. And I feel for Joe Willock on a selfish thing, he needs to go somewhere he can play 20, 30 games. Now, I want Arsenal to sign 2 midfielders, excluding what we have already. So, and it will probably be one. And now that Jacques is staying, Joe Willock ain't going to get game time. He needs to be selfish. What's going to get you closer to the England squad is probably play. Steve Bruce is begging for you to come back. Steve Bruce has probably been hollering him on all social medias, leaving him calls. He probably can't even check WhatsApp. It's that enthusiasm that I would be going to play for, because listen, I've known Arsenal my whole life. I'm going from a young man to a man now. They don't care that I'm Arsenal hailing. I need to show that I'm one of the best players to play for Newcastle. And let's be real, Newcastle's a big club. Playing on a regular basis is what he needs. Minutes are currency. There's none of these occasional Europa League games and all of these sort of things. And I feel, you know, him and Eddie should have forced the ball out. I'm happy to see Eddie go to Brighton. You know, I want Joe to go and develop and play at Newcastle. Of course, I would like our Haaland boys to show their levels and things like that, but they've needed it. Minutes are currency. There's only so much training you can do, and I get it. It must be wavy being at Arsenal. Half of them are with their fellow Haaland brethrens. They're playing, you know, they're in a very lucky spot in that, you know, bare of them are in the first team. And if I'm honest with a lot of them, you know, there's been better Arsenal players that if they were afforded that luxury when we've had all of this mass group of Haaland boys in and around the team, who knows what could have been said, you know? Minutes are currency. Don't listen to Arteta's sweet nothings. Look at the facts. You know, and for me, if I'm Joe Willock, like I said, the season is starting this weekend. I would have personally preferred to have been at Newcastle from now, so I'm in contention to play. Obviously, he can be in contention, but you'd imagine he'd probably be benched initially. You know, I would just want to go into this full season because there's still a lot for, let's be real, there's still a lot for Joe Willock to prove. It's half a season. Can he score goals? Can he keep scoring goals? You know, there's midfielders, even ironically, like Dele Alli. He's not scoring. People, you get to that stage where people start correlating good performances to goals. And I can't lie, I see it with Nelson in Germany, as I've said before at times. I've seen it with Joe. Pardon me. He needs to prove he can keep scoring goals, of course. But also on the same topic of that, what are you doing when you're not scoring? Yeah, you might not have scored, but can you get an assist? Can you dictate the tempo of the game? Because as someone who loves Joe Willock, I've learned a lot about his mentality, but in a positive way and negative way. I haven't learned too much about Joe Willock. You know, I know he puts in a shift. I know he's got the energy. I know he's got the box to box, but I shouldn't be praising a midfielder for that. What happens when it's a low block? The way Newcastle play in them games, they're set up for you. But what happens? Joe Willock's kind of irrelevant in a low block. Yeah, he might make the runs, but he's got gear and no idea at this moment in time. He needs to learn to really, you know, not dictate the tempo of the game, because not every midfielder can do that, but aim to do that, you know, offer a bit more technical ability about you. Because like I said, praising someone, much less a midfielder, for running about having legs is an issue. You know, prove you're a goal scoring midfielder. You know, I'm not saying he's not a goal scoring midfielder. I agree with all of you lot, but that's us Arsenal fans. To the whole footballing world, are you a goal scoring midfielder or is it a purple patch? Can you do it for a full season now? You know, because there is going to be ups and downs and highs and lows. You know, he's going to have to prove it week in, week out. Can you do it for a full season and confirm things? The only winners here are Newcastle, because if anything goes wrong, well, we could win, but if anything goes wrong, you'd imagine they make their 20 odd quid back. And also, if he does go on and have a good season, though, that could double his price tag, you know, and things like that. For me, with respect to Newcastle, Joe, you go there, you know, set down your roots, do what you can for a few years, and then see where life could take you, people. In my opinion, but good luck to Joe if that's what he's doing. Well, I say that's what he's doing. That's what he's on. I'm gonna bring up the articles and all those sort of things in a sec, people. But yeah, I like to see what you lot are saying, man. Big up DG for the link up with James Redmond. Just finished watching, and it would be great to see it again at some point in the future. Shout out to James for coming through. I've also been on his channel, and we'll, you know, when there's more things to talk about, or it's Arsenal, Liverpool, and things like that, and all of them things, you know, we'll get stuff done, man. Shout out to James for doing that, and there's more content on the way, man. As I said, make sure you're subscribed to me on Twitch, people, because you lot saw it yesterday. Twitch gang saw it time ago. Just like with the Football Manager content, make sure you're subscribed on Twitch, because 4:30 we go live again. And them things there. What else are you lot saying? Morning to you as well, T1. Big up the members, moderators, subscribers, and all of those things. I hope everybody's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's good. As I said, the target is 100 likes. We're at 107. Can we keep moving, people? There's 429 of you in here, and there's only 100 something likes. God bless everyone who's hit that like button. I wish you nothing but financial freedom, good health, and the rest of it. If you haven't hit the like button, I do wish you good health, but if you're an Arsenal fan, I hope for that. You know, we're not going to get no signings. As I keep saying, you're going to bang your little toe, unexpected, extreme high bill, and you're just lazy, man. And I want you to feel guilty about yourselves, man. Yes, I hope you're doing well and safe. Bro, we don't create chances. We don't shoot enough. We're very, very easy to read. There's not enough creativity. There's a lot of issues within this Arsenal team, man. Deep crosses to strikers who can't head the ball. Bro, Williams about 5'8", 5'9". We was crossing the ball for him. We're a madman team. We do mad stuff. DG, do you think the hour deal is still on? Well, it's never over till the fat lady sings. I think Pereira would be a good signing, but he's gone to the Middle East, so it is what it is. Aston Villa was trying to bid 30 million for Smith Rowe, and Willock had a better season. Oh, I mean, if you just look at it on goal scoring, I wouldn't say that, you know. Could have got 30 plus for Willock. We can, if we, you know, with the sell-on clause, we do stand to get that. And the other variables, we actually do stand to get that. But you're right. But at the same time, the squad needs a revamp. So, Shay, you're right. It could be a necessary means to an end. Should have accepted the low offer for Xhaka too. I would have accepted it, but that's where I think the squad, and that's where I've got to be fair to the club. I would have accepted it, but we can't sit here and say, you know, the club are not, they don't stick to their guns and then they stuck to it. I don't agree with new contracts and things like that. I think Xhaka is again, not in a lot of our eyes, but in Arteta's eyes, Xhaka is as important to this team as Tierney and Saka, purely because everything, rightly or wrongly, runs through that brother in midfield. And I just think we've bottled it, because if we're selling Xhaka, you need to bring in a midfielder who's going to do that and better. Even if Xhaka is staying, we all know that. I think the club said, I think Arteta said, you know what, let's not look for another midfielder of that ilk then, because Arteta don't want to sell Xhaka. Been following you since 1K followers, bro. Big moves. Appreciative of that, man. Humble beginnings. We're still at humble beginnings. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone. Whenever they came on became a part of this. I appreciate it. My fear is that the Willock money will be spent elsewhere, not in the problem areas. My problem with the Willock money is that that's one, but we might actually we need a centre mid, but somehow we sign a book centre mid, or we sign a good centre mid, and somehow all the sauce gets dropped. Because as I said at the start, we need new signings, and new signings can make the difference. But at the same time, I do think in certain areas, like the attack, whatever we say, we are very underperforming. And I don't think Arteta has shown me as simple as you get better players, you're going to get the best out of them. I'm going to see a creative midfielder roll into this club, and there's going to be no movement ahead. The pivot behind him isn't going to be sorted. I'm going to see a centre-half roll into this club, and the rest of his teammates are on a joke thing. What's going on there? You sign a striker because of kind of what I said about the cam. You can see how it filters through to the other side of the squad. The cam hasn't been able to do his thing. Football's it's a complex game, but it's very simple at times. And sometimes it feels like we're overcomplicating things. And, you know, certain managers are afforded a lot of propaganda that's seeing them do nonsense. I swear it was like 13 shots and 8 goals for Joe. That ain't happening again. 25 million is a good chunk of change for someone who did well for another team. You know, it just gives you shades of Martinez. Like at the time, Martinez was in the team 5 minutes, and you know, it looked like decent business. You got 20 million on a player that wanted to leave, away from the fact of, you know, he's a good player, he's better than what Leno can bring to the table and things. So it's down to Joe. But for me, as I said, Carl, if we're on this, it's a means to an end. Like, we didn't want to do it, but that might give you more peace for Maddison and all of these sort of things. I don't know. 25 million, I think he's calm down, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Before the Newcastle thing, I would have done it. I would have done it up for 20. I can't lie to you people. You know, so for me, he's done all right. The key thing for me is a sell-on clause, because you look at Aston Villa. Ironically, big up Carl. They signed Ings. You know, Ings was kind of rubby at Liverpool. He's rebuilt himself. They're getting a little 5-6 million off that fee. You know, if Joe develops and goes, I'd like to think the door is open to returning to Arsenal and things if he develops. But he might say, you know what, man's going to do United, man's come back to London to play for Chelsea, City, whatever. If he does that, cool, there's a sell-on clause, do your thing. And like I said, as long as the world keeps spinning in this club, it is what it is. Because as much as I love Joe, bro, it's not a Bukayo Saka Martinelli thing. Man said, DG, don't ban me, but when is the hot tub stream? 100k subs. When we get to 100k subs, we could talk about that. You man are moving mad. Willock would have never scored those goals in an Arsenal shirt. You have to ask why, because why is it that, with respect to Steve Bruce, he's never been renownedly known as an innovative coach and all of these things. Why has Joe Willock gone under him at Newcastle? And you're seeing more of a name. You're seeing stuff. It's whatever reason. Maybe it's just one of those things. I don't know, people. But we can only comment on what we see. 1 second, people. I'm actually still here. I just need to put things on charge. 1 sec, people. Big up everyone that's still locked in and all of those sort of things. I need to... Where's my other charger? Because I can't go gym with empty earbuds. Arsenal could never be that bad, man. I promise I'm still here, folks. I'm still here. I would never just run off and do that, bro. Appreciate everybody that's locked in. Everyone's got a lot of things to say. 600 odd of you locked in. Please make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. You're following / subscribing on Twitch. And you're also hitting the like button, people. What else are you lot saying? I promise we're going to get into all of this, but I'm not going to lie, people. I've always said I enjoy chatting to you lot. You lot make these streams a pleasure. And it's lovely to see you lot's opinions, man. I'd wait till next summer to spend big. It will be a hard year, but we need to be patient. I mean, I'll always be patient, but you've got to show me something to be patient for, or building blocks. I'll never advocate spending big. You could say we always spend big, spend correctly. And I think that could be done in this window. Arsenal have spent big. We spent 50 million on a player that's only played one season in the Premier League, right or wrong. That's big spending to me. Other clubs would probably do the wait and see. We've got a midfielder that we signed for 40 million and obviously didn't go. We have spent big. Let's be real. Do you think we could get Alwa and Maddison? Bro, beggars can't be choosers. Get one through the door first, and then we'll see what's going on. I don't think this is the right year to go all out in the market. Bro, it doesn't matter about none of that. Arsenal need to address areas. We don't need to be going for them mad names, but we need to address areas. What other people want to do is still an issue, because let's be real, even though I agree with you, I actually agree, that's my opinion. But when you look at the backdrop, is this an illusion? It's actually an illusion that people are spending peace, and we need to spend correctly. I wouldn't include Anana in a list of people that are perfect, but fair play. People say we get bullied in the market, yet they want us to accept 11 million for Xhaka. I mean, Roma said they're broke, and now all of a sudden they're trying to get Tammy. So why wouldn't they spend a couple of more quid on Granit Xhaka, this amazing midfielder that everybody said would have a whole list of offers if he departed this club? Big up DG. Understand the Willock sell, like I understood the Emmy Martinez sell, but I didn't agree with that sell either. Facts, bro. I mean, it is what it is. It's if Arsenal don't do anything, we're saying what's going on there, because the thing would say, the thing would say, as long as you've got midfielders that are doing the jobs, it's cool. If we're staying with these current options, we're in problems, man. The market dictates Xhaka's worth. One club in for him, buyer's market value only decreases from here. Man said 5 days left. DG, you ready for a long season, boy? Boy. I don't think you can ever get ready, but you just have to deal with it. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Going to the Brentford game, Tony Montana, what a name. Unfortunately, not. How highly do you rate Maddison? I rate him. I do think fans are gassing it a bit. I do think fans are doing what they do, gas them to a level they're not. He's not world class, but he's a baller, man. He would help us, but he's not going to solve everything. He's not going to be a messiah. We can't keep looking like Ben White is not going to be a defensive messiah. There's something to build upon with Ben White. 2 good performances against Chelsea and Spurs, but he's not going to be able to do it alone. Just like one creative man, you know, arguably signing a creative man is the easiest bit, because, you know, if you need creativity in your team, you need movement, you need people to assess when he's got the ball, where do I need to be? When they've got the ball, what do I need to do? I might need to make a run just to do a decoy thing. It's these sort of things. It's not just as white and black as signing a creative man and thinking we're going to improve. Same way, you can't just sign a defender and think we're going to become a defensively solid unit, or sign a striker and think it's just going to correlate towards goals. But football's a complex, it's a simple game, it's also a complex game, and people like to bury their heads in the sand. Only when we lose to these, you know, these quote unquote big games, people want to sit here and have in-depth conversations and things. It is what it is, people, because, you know, certain people like burying their head in the sand. There's too much, I feel, over sensationalization, if that's even a word, of things. Like, there's really no balance when speaking about things. But there's been a lot of speaking from me. Let's actually cover what's going on with Joe Willock. As you know, he's close to completing a move. First thing, I'm going to show you the article that I copied and pasted from The Athletic, just because The Athletic go in depth. You know, shout to the Google doc sheet. Let's zoom in a bit. Newcastle have agreed a fee with Arsenal for the permanent signing of Joe Willock. The Athletic understands a fee in excess of 20 million has been agreed, but personal terms still need to be finalised. The 21-year-old has been the number one target throughout the transfer window, and he becomes Steve Bruce's first summer signing. He got 8 goals last season, as you know. Why are Arsenal letting him go? Historically, Arsenal have been guilty of holding on to players for far too long before letting them go. That's true. Pardon me. Although Willock has been incredibly impressive for Newcastle, Arsenal have effectively decided that this is the prime opportunity to cash in on a player who exceeded expectations during last season's loan spell. It's true. You could say there's never been a better time to try and sell Lacazette since he signed for this club. El Nene by the same logic, even Callum Chambers by that same logic, you know. Although Arteta was open to welcoming Willock back into the squad, it was always the case that offers in excess of 20 million for a player regarded as a squad option rather than a first-team starter would be difficult to resist. This is also a transfer window in which the club have thus far failed to find buyers for a number of senior players, although Arsenal have fielded varied degrees of interest in Bellerin, Xhaka, Lacazette. I mean, it's like when you're trying to kill time and you walk in, you're in Westfield or something, and you walk and look at some trainers in JD. You have no intention of buying it. You're wasting time. You're just looking at it. Or you might buy it, but you're looking. So varied degrees of interest means nothing. Xhaka out of them probably looks the most close. We've heard from the beginning of summer starting, Bellerin's agent has been here, there, and everywhere, Italy, Spain, trying to get moves away. But unfortunately, shit players are never going to get moves. No club has come close to matching their asking prices. Selling Willock should allow some cash to flow into Arsenal's remaining recruitment drive. So yeah, that's that in relation to Joe Willock, folks, of The Athletic. Newcastle agreed 22 million fee for Arsenal midfielder Joe Willock, with Magpies finally set to get their man after brilliant loan spell last season. He set himself some high expectations, you know. He needs to show that he can score goals. And for me, it's not always about scoring goals. What are you going to do when you're not scoring goals? You know, we ain't learned too much about Joe Willock. I know you can drive with a ball. Have you shown that in the Prem? I actually think you've got the ability to, I won't say dictate the tempo of the game, but offer a lot more for your team in the middle of the park. He hasn't really shown that. You know, I do think people look at it with rose tints. Sometimes you scored and not done anything other than that. There's a base level to build upon. Only time will tell if this is going to work out. And for me, as I said, Joe Willock, you need to leave Arsenal because you're going to keep getting messed around. You know, you've been at Arsenal your whole life. Leaving means you're outside your comfort zone. Playing under a manager that wants to play you, that gives you the opportunity of starting in the Prem. There's no substitute for that. Arteta can tell you he likes you until you're blue in the face. Xhaka is playing ahead of you. Partey is playing ahead of you. Lokonga is probably playing ahead of you. You bring in Maddison on, and even the hours and these things, these 8s and 10s complicate things as well. Smith Rowe emerged from the team, much better 10 than you. You're in more of an industrial one. So I think he needs to leave to grow people, and I think that's what will happen. For what it's worth, as I stated, Newcastle have yet to agree personal terms with Willock, who was left out of the Arsenal squad for their pre-season friendly with Tottenham. Arteta, rather than just answer the question, he said, Willock, when asked on why he wasn't involved, we will explain the reasons when we can. I hope Joe's been the one that's pressed this, because I just feel the club would mess you around. Arteta's going to tell you everything under the sun. The club are going to tell you anything under the sun. Steve Bruce is going to tell you everything because he wants you. This is the way the cookie crumbles. This is how life works. But for Joe, if you have chose to leave Arsenal and go into Newcastle, which I think you have, make sure you've done it for you. And I think it would be a good move. I think it's one where he'll develop. Let me see if there's any other things. As you lot can see, we've read 3 articles. We've seen it go from 20 to 22 to 25. Newcastle agree fee of around 25 million with Arsenal for midfielder. Oh, I've frozen here, ain't I? Good old Google Docs back to his BS. Scrolling all the way down, as you lot can see here, Newcastle have agreed a fee in the region of 25 million with Arsenal for midfielder Joe Willock. Once again, fees, personal terms are yet to be finalised, but Newcastle will be keen to complete the deal in time for him to be available for their first game on Sunday, people. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, folks. Hopefully, that one there is resolved, and hopefully it means that we can quickly move on and try and bring in some players into this football club. Whether that actually happens, though, is a completely different thing. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, folks. Good analogy, DG. Arsenal, for the most part, are window shoppers. Boy, to be fair, I'm all for rebuilding. Spending, in my opinion, is an outlay of 200 plus million, and I completely agree. It's about how we spend. Yeah, but to be honest with you, bro, I hear you, but we can both our minds can be put to bed in that, bro. Where are we getting 200 million from? To be fair to you, suddenly things can add up. If you was to spend 70 odd on Maddison, if you was to spend 30 odd on Ramsdale, you throw in the 50 on Ben White, you add up Tavares' deal and Lokonga's, and any, assuming we sign a right back and maybe a keeper or even off a striker like these lot said, to get it, so you're right. But also, for me, I actually feel if you've got peas, this is their best market. Like peas, for me, peas doesn't just mean I've got 100 million to drop on any player's head. If you look at, I know PSG's, they're backed by a country and stuff like that, but they're able to exploit situations. Barca ain't got peas. They fumbled the bag and lost the best player ever, Lionel Messi. It's like if Jay-Z somehow gets dumped by Beyonce. How did you manage that? You got the baddest in the world. Somehow you've managed to F it up. Yeah. And they've been able to exploit that. How many men have they got in for free? How many? It is a buyer's market if you got peas. If we didn't have either Lacazette and Aubameyang, if our peas were straight, bro, this Martinez thing is done. Them and they are dropping the rates. Man United got peas. Dortmund, they still made profit on Jadon Sancho, but they shagged themselves. They've probably got, lost a 30, 40 million. United got a little Black Friday discount on Sancho. So if you got peas, things can happen, but we ain't got peas. Well, we do have peas, but 1 minute we got peas. It's a war chest tig and all of this sort of thing. As I said, Daniel Ek, this would be the smartest time to start talking about Arsenal again. Before we get into this Maddison business, I'd just terminate the contracts of Lacazette, Willian, Kolasinac, Bellerin, pay them off, take the financial sacrifice and bring in more youth. Jack, I hear that, but that's a kind of naive. I'm not going to lie to you, because that's going to be significant outlays, and with the exception of Kolasinac and Willian, because they're not apart, we'd struggle, because you can't expect them to do that and then sign players, really. But I hear you, really doesn't, you're better off keeping Lacazette. There's no point terminating his deal. There's a use to him in the squad. Willian, that's a big financial L, but I hear you. Kolasinac, he's trying to negotiate that as well. Bellerin, you're looking at 2 years or a year or so. We got to pull it into a bit of terms now. Like, it's a bit of a mazza. We need Bernardo Silva. We need a lot of things, man. We need a lot of things. A lot of things. Arsenal should spend that 70, 60 on a right back, cam and striker. It's sad Arsenal don't use common sense. Says JME. What a name. Sad to see Willock go, as I think he's got bags of potential and he's only going to get better. But I think he can help fund the Maddison deal or help pay to fix areas where we're terrible. Then it has to be done. Facts, in my opinion. Do you think Aouar would be the replacement for Willock? I mean, he's not a replacement for Willock, because Willock hasn't needed replacement because he's been nothing more than a squad player, not to be harsh on him. But, if you sell Willock and that gives you means to an end to get the Aouar thing done, why not? Bro, we used to have creative players forced in onto the flanks. We used to have creativity. I I can't lie. I like a lot of things at Arsenal under Wenger, even though there was question marks with him. Took a lot of things for granted, and creativity was one of them. Definitely, we had that in abundance. That was ingrained in the club, and it's a bit of a mazza now. I can see Arsenal taking the money from Willock and buying Willock. Ah. Killing me. Big up, Ben. I'm a Leeds fan, but I like to come on these streams where it's obvious Aguna knows what he's talking about. Would like to see Arsenal getting back to where they should be, but it's a long road. Ben, I appreciate that praise for my channel and what we're doing here. You know, but I'd like to say I give it to all of you lot, really, because you lot make it for what it is. You know, we all having different opinions, but everybody's bringing something to the table. Shout out to Leeds as well. I'm jealous of you, man. That's where I find no, this Leeds are a big club. You know me, I don't do this big club thing, but I find myself jealous of every club now. I'm jealous of Leeds. You know, you got people like, I can't say his name, but ARTETA. He's finding players to make profit, players that can go into the first team. You know, Bielsa, you obviously know what he's doing. You can't do any of that without the owners being serious. The way the players buy into things and things like that. The same can be said for Leicester. The same could be said for Aston Villa. You know, the same could be said for a bag of teams, not just the obvious ones we sit here and say. You know, I just find any team that looks like they've got some togetherness, I'm quite jealous of them. Like you said, it's a long road. That's why when people say things like trust the process and things, I have no problem sitting back and trusting processes. But you need to show me something. You know, if I'm learning how to do kick-ups and I'm telling you trust my process, I'm going to be able to do 100 kick-ups one day. But you're seeing me not work on it. I'm smoking zoots, I'm chilling, I'm doing nonsense. I'm not working on it. But if you're going, if you're chilling and you're seeing me 1 minute, I'm doing 10, then I'm doing 25, then I'm doing 50, then I'm doing 70. You might not see the fruits of the labor, but you can trust the process because you can see evident signs of improvement or encouragement. I can't see that at Arsenal. I can see fancy articles and stuff like that, and you know, showing me narrow fullbacks. It's not obvious. You should be able to explain the differences to an idiot because football is a complicated game, but it's also very simple. It's 22 players trying to put a ball over the line more times than the other and you win a game. This ain't rocket science. It's not Formula One. It's not any of these things. And what scares me with Arsenal is as I said, new signings isn't, you know, we need new signings. But then again, I don't know if Arteta and the boys are going to get the best out of them. But then also the mentality, you know, Leeds are a good team. Leeds would be irrelevant if, you know, it would be irrelevant. Sorry, if Leeds were a good team, if you apply yourself against City or whatever, you know, us, everybody at Ellen Road, no one wanted to go there. But then you lose to, you know, Joltman, Sheffield United, and you're doing that consistently. It's how you apply yourselves over a 38-game period. And Arsenal are our own biggest enemies, both in the league last year, both in 9 games out of 10. You know, we play Liverpool with quality players like Mo Salah, Mane, and them man there. If we leave the game and I sit here and I say, wow, them guys are some of the best in the Prem, what can you say? We've applied ourselves. They've shown why they're quality players. Too often than not, we're making mistakes and they're exploiting it. You know, teams worse than us with less resources put up more of a fight. And I don't think people understand a lot of these things because people like living agendas. People just want to be ridiculously negative sometimes, or some people want to bury their heads in the sand with this trust the process bullshit. It's just pre-season. It's just this. It's just that. And they're not wrong. But stop it, because these agendas kill football. This is why I love you lot as a community, but I don't really like talking about football with people I don't know because people just do this agenda thing. People don't look at it in the purity, and especially with Arsenal, certain people are convinced Arteta is the best thing since sliced bread. Certain people never gave him a chance. So with that, with every victory, propaganda. With every defeat, negative propaganda. Where they should, you know, he's our manager. We can support him, but we've got no loyalty to him beyond can he be an Arsenal manager and do the job? And it's looking peak. And this is the issue with us. We've got a long way to go, Ben, man. Fantastic comment. Would you take Auer and Odegaard or Maddison by himself? I'd prefer Maddison over Odegaard, but two heads is better than one, man. I just think Auer next to Partey, Odegaard and Smith Rowe, whatever you say, I think that makes our squad a bit stronger. Obviously, Maddison's more of a gassers. It's more of a star boy thing. It's more of a statement, quote unquote. It makes more noise and trends and all of those things. So, of course, I would love Maddison. And I think, you know, he's a quality player. But I just feel throughout the squad, I think I could use... it's not that I can use Maddison any less, but I just think there'd be more of a use. I would find it easier with Auer and Odegaard because I would like another number 10. I do need a number 8. I actually would like someone that can play next to Partey and be a bit more creative, more than a quote-unquote number 10 or someone that can play there. But that's just me because I don't think this midfield's been addressed. And one thing I say all the time that does my head in, I look to my left, I look to my right. Obviously not the same, but I've got Edu. Where did you play? Midfielder. Arteta, what was you? A midfielder. You played at Arsenal. You've seen midfielders at City. I don't even think you're listening to the David Moyes thinker. I don't even think David Moyes would go on with a lot of things he's been doing. I can't lie to you. And I like Arteta, but I have to call things as they are. I've got no allegiances to Arteta beyond the fact that I give him my support. I don't want to be a sacking. I don't want anyone to fail. I don't think anything of Bellerin, of Cedric. Like, there's some players I don't think are good in this team, and there's some players I don't rate. Bellerin is one I'd say I like you. I don't know why I like you. It comes from the academy, but I don't rate you as a footballer. I don't think you're good at anything. But you'll always have my support if you put on an Arsenal shirt. Then if you do well, you get praised. If not, criticism. It's simple as that. It's just a bit too toxic at this football club, ain't it? It's a bit muddy, ain't it? Who to be, you know. Oatsy, appreciate you. Oatsy, apologies. Sup, DG Nation. I work from home. Usually I listen to your live streams as I cook. I joined late, but I just want to say that we have 25 million from Willock. Why not get our much love from Botswana? Big up the Botswana ones. I mean, there's got to be some other variables, but you know, if we take it at face level, like you said, bro, if I had the answer, I'd give it to you. Because like you, I'm asking the same question. Subscribe if you haven't as well, man. Arsenal really are the richest broke club out there. I mean, you got some legs to it, but I mean, Inter's broker than us. So let's be a bit fair. Villa and West Ham are better than Arsenal. How many times have they finished ahead of us? I mean, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. You're allowed your opinion, but I just need a bit of logic there. How many times have they finished ahead of us? You know, West Ham, we'll see it again. Villa's definitely ran better than us, 100%. Definitely, I've just praised them, but better. They came behind us. Come on now. Well, they are rivals now, but come on now. Let's be a bit thinky, man. I like the realness. You never slate players. Always fair criticism and expectations. What a platform. Appreciate that, Ake. I really do, man. And I know if I slate you, you deserve it. You know, there's plenty of players. I wish I had it in me to do the madman thing. Yef in this, yef in that, but it's not gonna get man nowhere, bro. Arteta has to be gone by December if things aren't going well, bro. There it is. Like a lot of people, man. A lot of people. There's no hiding place for a lot of players, man. And I just don't get how there's so much propaganda for Arteta. Like, if he is building something, that's fair play. But to me as a fan, I can't see it. I cannot see it. I do see certain good things and things like that. Do you want Arteta sat right now, DG? I'm not too sure. I've never said that. I mean, it won't help us. Our preseason's already a mess. I'm not saying this to keep him there. Selling him is not going to help us. I mean, clipping him is not going to help us right now. If we get to that stage where we have to bite the bullet, where we're getting towards December or in December and it's looking shaky, then as I said, we can't afford to carry passengers and it needs to happen. But then we reset and I don't listen. I just want to see everybody held accountable, man. I just want to see everybody learning from their mistakes. It's simple as that, man. But I don't know if Donnies are gonna learn from it. Oh man. Our at a reduced fee would allow us to go back in for Basuma and Max Aarons instead of chucking the bag at Maddison. I hear you, Sean, but we're not going to do that. We've got Partey, we've got Lokonga, no Partey's injured. They're not going to go out and sign Basuma without going for that more expensive man. You've probably got more hope of signing Maddison and Howard than the others, in my opinion. But you know, if you can get it done, if you know someone at Arsenal, go get that done, man. Because who doesn't want Basuma there? 22 million for Willock isn't funding any deal. It's funding Xhaka's new contract, which will amount to 30 million over 4 years, bro. Easy. We should not be looking at Johnson or Ramsdale, brother. You're telling me, man. I think we all could say that. Nothing against the keepers, but and for me, it's the fees, bro. It's the fees. Like, it's the fees, man. Like Ramsdale for 30 million. If you can see something that he's gonna be in the future, if you see him as England's number one on some mad boy thing, and it's something that we can't see, I'm prepared to say, you know what, we never saw that. That's why you lot are employed. But to me, I don't think he's a bad keeper, but I don't think he's worth 30 million. You know, we need I describe Leno as a ball playing keeper, and his distribution is shaky. We're trying to play out from the back. Yes, for me, keepers need to be able to catch first before their feet. But is Ramsdale necessarily renowned for that? Obviously, there's some exceptions to the rule, but you get the point, man. 4 days to go on a level. DG, how you feeling? Bless up. Maverick, feeling the same way, you know. Not to say I told you so, but I told you, look, we're gonna get to this point on my live stream. I said, you know, I'm still as frustrated as I am. No right backs coming as a Sunday League right back. Man, seeing bare right backs at Arsenal. Who is gonna be the guy for 38 games? I would love Maitland-Niles to lock it down. I don't really care anymore. Like I said, I can't carry people now. It's like, I'm tired of the love dramas. So can we get a next one? We've got over the line with Ben White. Centre mid still scares me. I hear the talk about strikers, but for me, right back in centre mid, if it's not addressed, call it a day. And how am I feeling? Like I feel at the start, bro. Like this, there's not even any words. I don't know how I quantify. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's like frustration, acceptance, anger, you know, desperation / hope. Envy's not the right word, but you know, when you start to just not hate something, but you just start to just look at you in a different light because you're just moving mad and I can't change anything. But other than that, kind of like you lot are all been saying, you know, we're doing the same things over and over again and expecting things to be different. It's not gonna work, is it, really and truly? Love from Island DG. Arsenal is like a wall that's always falling apart. We lose 2 bricks and replace it with 1 brick, and we think we're adding to the wall when in reality we're not even mending it. Facts. It's like breaking a toy and just putting sellotape over and over and over and over and over again. Appreciate that, Jack. Nah, I can't lie. Arteta, the players, everything is the issue, bro. Just like everyone can be part of the solution, everyone's the issue, bro. Everyone's playing a part in this problem. Some people have played a part for a matter of months, a couple of years, a lot of years. Everyone's part of the problem. We win, lose, and draw together. Can Arteta sit there and say, I've done everything I can? Have I learned from my mistakes? Have I made no mistakes? The answer is clearly no, just like the players. Everyone's part of the solution, just like everybody's part of the problem currently. You know, I'm not saying you, Sean, but this is the issue. Like when we're doing nonsense, we can't absolve Arteta of blame. And then when we're doing great things, win. He's not in charge of transfers, but he's got more of a say. Xhaka is not staying, let alone sign a new deal without his say so. You know, certain players are not. He's been given post Arsene Wenger. Not that there's a lot of people. He's not no longer a head coach. He's a manager, and he hasn't got anything in the game or done anything to condone that. Yeah, he won the FA Cup. Take nothing away from it. At the time, I could understand it because he's moving mad. But that's because he was showing things. Now he's not. Everything's the issue. Historically, nothing's going to change with Kroenke. I would rather give Arteta better players and see what he could do. But has he shown me he deserves that? Like, you haven't worked with nothing. Same way the minute you came in, you were seeing a lot of people developing things. You ain't shown a lot. You haven't shown me to say, if I bring you these hours and these Maddisons, you're going to get the best out of them. I'd rather clearly them areas brought in and addressed, and definitely the players. And then we have this conversation. But everyone's part of the problem, just like everybody's part of the solution or can be part of the solution. The problem is not a lot of people want to do that, really and truly, you know. Is what it is. Let me make that into a timestamp as well. Okay, now I keep saying it. Let's actually look at this James Maddison business now, man. Let me timestamp. But yeah, James Maddison. Where's AFC Bell? Good old AFC Bell. Let's see what's being said. Let me share my screen with you guys. Yeah, man, Maddison could be moving closer. We all know you put 60 million on the table, you could move closer. So hopefully, with sorting out Joe Willock, hopefully, you know, if Joe leaves, if Brighton really want to give us 20 million for Eddie Nketiah, if a couple of other outgoings, you know, if we've saved up our pocket money and our lunch and Christmas money and birthday money, hopefully we can afford Maddison. Do I think 60 million is excessive? Of course, you know, in the modern game, you know, of course it's not. You know, Maddison ain't done much to be worth a 60 million player, but I do like him. He's confident. He's consistent. He's competent. He's got technical ability. You know, he's got the ability to improve. He's got the mentality. Now, yeah. And he's a 24 in it, so I'm all for it. But again, I don't have, if it doesn't make sense, then my Arabs, forgive me. And my Arabic readers, it's not me. As you can see, I'm not blessed with that. I'm hitting Google Translate. Shout out to the AFC Bell. Arsenal appointed mediator Darren Robinson has engaged in heart-pounding talks with his Leicester City counterparts about a number of possible combinations of an offer that would lure the Foxes to the table for an official peer-to-peer negotiations with Arsenal. There is no breakthrough yet, but there are positive signs implied. So the first thing is, we already know that. We already know there's middlemen and agents and whatnot trying to gauge the feasibility of what both parties want. We already know Leicester, not that they're a selling club, but they will sell if you match their high prices. We already know that, rightly or wrongly, Maddison is open to signing us and we want to sign him. Darren Robinson has worked with Maddison's people before, as I'm sure you're all seeing images appear on social. So, you know, the way it's been put, there's progress, but again, there's not much. We hear on top of that, we hear personal terms won't be a problem either. But all of these other variables that sound promising, you have to go back to one thing: the money, the asking price, the structure. Will you do it? It's them things there that will make this guy wear a red shirt and no longer be a cripple wearing blue. So scrolling down, obviously, there's a series of follow-up tweets, people. Information: it is understood that Arsenal's appointed mediator first inquired from his Leicester City counterparts whether an offer in the £50 million approximation would bring Leicester to the negotiating table, and the response was no. The minimum Leicester City will listen to and consider is 60 million. Fair play, as they should. You want the guy, pay through the nose. On the sidelines of the same talks, the mediator in charge of negotiations asked about the feasibility of Arsenal offering a £60 million package with the combination of a player and a sum of money. They didn't take Joe Willock, so now it looks like, you know, Joe Willock can complete his move to Newcastle. And to be honest, Joe, they have to have told you they offered you indirectly in them sort of moves. If they did, then that tells you they're not rating you or not trying to use you. So you should have been on your agent's case to get this move to Newcastle sorted out quicker. So, yeah, we already know that as well. We've tried to offer players, whether it's banged or not. Clearly, it hasn't. Moving away from that with the other follow-up tweets, people, as you lot can see, Leicester City stakeholders believe that one or two players may appeal to them and fulfill their needs in this window, but it is unlikely that Arsenal would accept their inclusion in such an exchange deal. So he's saying Tierney, who they've been linked with before, and Saka. I would be saying the same, Leicester. You know, it can't be anyone else. You know, we tried to offer you Joel, Nelson, Eddie, Maitland. You've said no, innit? So it is what it is. You're well open to take Xhaka if you want, or Renison if you want. It is, or Bellerin. It is also inevitable that the two clubs' assessment of their weight of package will vary according to their valuations of the proposed players. So I think, unless a miracle happens, we probably know where this ends, in it. We're gonna go for our, in it. If Arsenal are willing to put 50 million on the, Odegaard, if they're willing to put 50 million on the table, Leicester are saying no, and Real Madrid are broke, and they're saying they will deal with Odegaard for 50 million. So are we going to do a thing where we're going to keep doing this pussyfooting around Maddison as it gets towards the end of the window? We're going to try and, you know, go with the, I don't want to say safe option, but the quote unquote safe option of Martin Odegaard, because he's been here before, because Real Madrid are in a less healthier state than Leicester, clearly, and they'll be more open to sell. It looks like that, as we already know. So we're not learning too much so far. But big up AFC Bell, because he's the one that, you know, the world was saying we're not getting part A. He was saying, listen, Arsenal fans, we're getting him. So I believe in him. Leicester City did not close the door on the mediator representing Arsenal in this round of talks and did not give indications that there was a special deadline of this deal. For example, before the start of the new season, which gave the mediator a positive impression that Leicester are open to negotiation once the 60 million arrived cash money. So of course they will. They're not going to say no, because they recognize if you give us peas, we're not going to turn it down. But that's the asking price. If you're pussyfooting around it, come out of the room, innit? You're just, you know, broke boys need to stop talking, really. Sources close to the event and familiar with Arsenal's purchasing power in this window have already indicated to, I suppose, the AFC Bell that the final word in this file is not to provide the necessary funds to conclude the deal, but rather avoid spending madly on one player and neglect any gaps or shortages in one of their positions in the squad. So are we going to try and plug gaps in the squad and then try go for him? You know, are we trying to structure the deal so that it allows us more cash available on hand for this year and more IOUs? Again, it comes down to, as I said at the start, the structure and the fee, and it don't look promising in that regards for me. So we'll pray, we'll hope, but boy, I don't know. Scrolling down, the English press reports that surfaced recently about Arsenal's intention to keep Xhaka and Bellerin and offer them renewals to some extent indicate that Arsenal want to provide sufficient cover in these two areas, allowing the club to focus to focus its focus and resources on strengthening the goalkeeper position and adding a player creative. Boy, we'll have to see, folks. Scrolling down, sources close to Bellerin say that the player has not yet received an official renewal contract and the camp is still evaluating all options and listening to those interested in the player's services. There's still a lot left for this window to pass, the same source added, as we know. Scrolling down even more, in ideal circumstances, Arsenal would like to resolve the fate of the right back before it descends with its weight in negotiating area with Leicester, whether by keeping Bellerin and having enough cover in the centre or by leaving and compensating him internally or externally with a new deal to fill the gap of his exit if he leaves. The players' camp is not in a hurry on either side. Boy. The developments that took place last night with the imminent departure of Joe Willock with a permanent transfer deal to Newcastle with an amount of £25 million are positive in the club's efforts to chase its number one goal, James Maddison. Theoretically, the club may use this amount to raise its oral proposal submitted by the mediator and crystallise it into a formal written proposal. Google Translate is doing it dirty, man. I know this is probably what they're not saying. Apparently, the feeling we got after speaking with people close to the conversation surrounding James Maddison is that Arsenal are willing to compromise with Leicester City over the James Maddison deal. To be fair to you, if we're willing to spend 30 million on Ramsdale, rightly or wrongly, that shows you're willing to, offer more than these players are worth. 50 million on Ben White off after one, while he's been positive, but one Premier League season. If you're, as much as I feel the club will buckle, I have to be fair. If you're willing to do that, then maybe you are willing to be aggressive with James Maddison. Certain people might say this is reckless. Granted, this is lazy at a time where we have to look after our pennies a bit better. Could you get someone with scope to be better or levels than James Maddison? But we don't know him, Could we have utilized other emerging markets at a time where we need to be smart, or as some people at this club said, outsmart the market? I don't know. So yeah. The mediator's message informing Arsenal of Leicester's intention to negotiate at the 60 million barrier did not alienate or discourage the club, but rather the opposite. Right, there's hella stuff here, isn't there? Bloody hell, how many? Oh, three more. We got this, Pete. 4 more. We got this. Arsenal are making slow strides behind the scenes in the James Maddison deal, but is important and on the right track. The deal is not close to happening, and there is no guaranteed deed on it due to the absence of negotiations and official offers. But the club is expected to intensify its efforts in the remaining time, I think it's meant to say, in this window. Scrolling down once more, people, he understands that the preparatory work for James Maddison's deal with the players' camp preceded the signing of Martin Odegaard for months, and therefore he is the number one option for the club. As we mentioned in January, Odegaard may provide a valuable alternative if Objective 1 cannot be signed. So it's Odegaard or bust, in my humble opinion. The James Maddison thing's a myth. He understands that talks between Arsenal and Odegaard's camp are currently inactive, and the lines of communication have been cold between two parties for a while, but that may change if the club reaches a dead end in the James Maddison deal. And obviously, Carlos said once again, Odegaard is staying. The indications do not indicate that the Maddison deal is currently impossible, especially after the feeling talks. And lastly, people, the next few weeks could bring a lot with Arsenal sources repeating, just judge our work in the closed transfer window. What is certain is that the club is still working on James Maddison's deal, and the little news that appears to the public does not necessarily mean that there is no real work in this file. So it's not over to the fat lady sings, but boy, let's see exactly what happens in that regards. There's 809 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, you're getting your opinions in, and you're subscribed on Twitch, people, because obviously 4:30 I'm going live on Football Manager again. The second episode of getting Arsenal the Champions League. Let's call this James Maddison transfer news. Sorry, folks. You might as well have the same thing there. So yeah, it is what it is in that regard. So yeah, that is that. Some of that can be left for tomorrow because we need content. So yeah, that's that, folks. Unless there's any other transfer news that's emerged, let me see what you lot are saying. Subscribers from Asia, Africa, Europe, and US. It's a DG nation, deluded, gone global. Appreciative to all of you lot, and big up to everyone everywhere in this world, man. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Most importantly, good health. Just joined you, brother. What is going on with Arsenal? We are shambolic. Another season with no hope. I don't look forward to Arsenal anymore looking at our team. Listen, for Arsenal fans' sake, I hope they can prove us all wrong, man. we can't really believe Leon expect 25 million for our right. They were adamant last season he wasn't leaving for an undervalued amount, but contracts change everything, I guess. Pardon me. Instead of Maddison, who is 60 plus, why don't we get Sabitzer an hour, quantity over quality? You can't get Sabitzer because he looks like he's going to be completing the move to Bayern Munich, but I hear you in theory. Good opinions, people. DG gets bare love in Canada. Appreciate all my Canadians and that. Chicago, I got love for you as well. Appreciate that. You managed to get a ticket for Chelsea game, DG. I weren't involved, bro. Why am I? It's not that I don't want to go. It's just man's optimism's on the floor, bro. Like I went to the preseason game. Listen, I love being at the Emirates. I love seeing you guys. I like seeing a lot of people I used to see in and around the ground that we actually haven't seen for a while. I might still go, but it's like for me, obviously, I just don't feel it. Like I just don't want to be at the Emirates at this moment in time. Obviously, things can change. I just don't feel inspired enough, man. It is a step down from James Maddison. Obviously, the prestige of Arsenal is one thing, but from a sporting perspective, as I said, for you look at their owner, literally from the owner all the way down, they're more serious than us. They're in Europe. They finished ahead of us a couple of years. It doesn't make sense. If Arsenal was to flip it on its head, then it makes sense. There's no point. You know, there's no, and for me, it's the mentality with them Leicester man are different. So it doesn't make sense, you know. It's a crazy one. It wouldn't make sense for him. And for me, yeah, you can take a step down. It's the mentality. You look around at Arsenal, you look around at Leicester, you see winners at Leicester. You see better individuals, not even in terms of abilities, just the way they do things. So it wouldn't make sense. Of course, the London attraction. Of course, he might be able to get bigger wages. Of course, there's probably still that historic pool. Of course, Arteta can whisper sweet nothings into his ear about how I improve him and things like that. But I don't know, man. It don't really make sense. Arsenal are still at the talking stage while other clubs are on the lip syncing and moving to secure the thing. Oh, man. Hope you're having a better day, human being, man. Hit the like button or we finish 8th again, says Jaden. Hit the like button because I don't want that. Carl, it baffles me because contracts, like you said, you can be given a contract because we rate you or to protect value. What value are we protecting with Bellerin? Come on now, man. When are people going to understand that there was never a plan? These men are making it up as they go along. Shit, it's a harsh one, man. What else have we got? Signing Maddison will go a long way towards allaying my fears about this season. Striker and a right back can wait till January as long as we get the right ones. Southern Exposure has said, massive love and respect, DG. Arsenal are always the slowest to get our ish done. Mistake after mistake being made. I hope Arteta is ready to meet the fans on Saturday because he's going to hear them. Me personally, I think the fans being there could be the best thing because I just think the club or the people that do the stuff for the club, they live in a vacuum world, innit? Like they just live in some mad world where I don't even think they turn on the real news. They just tell you everything's great. It's like, what's that thing I used to watch when I was younger, man? Teletubbies. I don't know what the ground. You see where Teletubbies used to live? I feel that with Arsenal. We're just there. Nobody's telling people the honest truth. Kieran Tierney's probably the only one not on it. Probably mashes up the green screen. It does feel like that, man. We'll have to see, man. DG, do you think Edu and Arteta are on the same page? Last summer we heard Arteta wanted Aouar, but Edu signed Partey. I hear that, and that can be a conflict, but I'd imagine that, I'd imagine even the positive examples, Leeds, Leicester, Villa, Dortmund, all these clubs that seem to always replace. I very much doubt that everybody wants to sign the same player or do the same things. It's just that these lot have the same collective goal. At Arsenal, it feels like too many people are left to their own devices. Too many people are trying to make the wrong statement, and there's just too much power in certain individuals' hands. It's a bit of a mad one, man. Your views on AFTV circus? What's that? Are you talking about AFTV or have they done something? Either way, I don't know, man. It's got nothing to do with, man. Them man do their thing, I do mine, man. Never been this scared as an Arsenal fan, bro. Big up DG. Joe's going must mean we're getting a midfielder. Also, why we never shoot or call or counter thoughts. Broski, there's so much wrong with us from a tactical point of view. That's my thoughts, man. I don't know what we're on. At least the title race should be fun to watch. You have to see, man. Maddison's got a footballing brain. That's the main attraction to me. Facts, man. It's absolutely amazing. Good opinions, though, folks, man. It's been a very good, it's been a very good live stream. I feel people. We're only at, I was about to say only. We're at 389 in terms of likes. Can we push that towards 400, though, man? Keep that one there going, people. From a massive overhaul to offering contracts to Bellerin and Xhaka, bro. Season tickets got renewed, shirts got bought in it. Boy, in the dog. It's peak. The lot to Arsenal on loan would be a decent deal. Nah, man. Has he? Unless he is, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm watching the lot week in, week out, but unless he has returned to Manchester United from that spell in Italy or wherever he was, moving like a real Italian defender. What I mean is soaking up the Italian defensive culture. I don't want him. That's another player. I rate the lot, but that's another player that's going to need a lot of work. And there's too many of them at Arsenal at this moment in time that need a lot of work and one-to-ones. And I'm not seeing it already from our existing gaffer. I would just like can we just find a Sagnar or someone who might be a modern day fullback, but they're playing, I don't know, they're playing in second division in France. Can scouts just do their jobs, man? That's all I want, man. Just do your job, man. I can't blame you for feeling that way, to be honest. Can't say I'm different to you in the terms of feeling inspired by the clubs. It's like, it's just mellow. Like, I'm not, obviously, I can get aggravated. Like, there's been moments in preseason I've got excited. We signed Lokonga. There was talk of other things. There's times I've been vexed like I am now. But ultimately, it's just that. You show me one or two things to think, yeah, maybe something's happening. And then the next thing, they show you other things. It's like, it's very, very much a mixed bag, man. As a United fan who's lived through the fierce United versus Arsenal rivalry, it's quite sad seeing the direction Arsenal are heading in. Seems like it's just gradually gets worse year after year. Gradually? That's the one word I'd say change, man. It's accelerating, bro, but can't add anything onto that, man. Thoughts on Lokonga? Very good player, but we need him to, things are he's gonna play a lot of games very quickly, in my opinion. But we need to give these young guys scope to grow. I really feel uncomfortable that my football club, and it's no disrespect to the players, that we're relying on. If Lokonga played, Lokonga's giving us some inspiration, and he's already shown more bravery than man that have been here for time. Historically, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, way before Smith Rowe was even getting a look in. These lot are pulling the club along. When these lot are not having good games, it's issues, man. Carol said, I hear you, DG. I'm not a season ticket holder, neither am I, but I've had opportunities to attend Arsenal games. But the way the club and team are, I've got no enthusiasm, optimism, or confidence to go and watch. Facts, man. It's just because for me, I'll always go support my team in it. I'll always advocate going to the game. Like, even I found myself at Chelsea, I just stood around looking. Like, I love this club. I love the fans. I love everything that's going on. But it's like, is this a charade? Is it a false image? Like, am I trapped now because you man are not moving? I'm not asking you to be world beaters. But, yeah, man. We are finishing top 4 easily this season. Since Christmas, we have been very good. Fleur, I hope you're right. But I will say the league doesn't start then. It doesn't start then. It starts in August. All that matters is where you start. And it's not even necessarily about where you start because, you go back to them winter months, people were saying Pep needs to go. He's finished. He's that. May, everyone's saying he's a messiah. So it is about where you start and finish, but it's not even really about where you start. It's about where you finish, You can be one of the best teams since 2021 or since December, but, people would say that's when Arsenal, when the pressure's off, we don't do our thing. And, the real table from August to May shows where we are. You don't get no trophies for that. That's like, could we win the Champions League just for touching the final? Like, because if we can, I want my boys to get their medals for 2006. It could be worse, Arsenal fans. You could have Mike Ashley as your owner. Probably, yeah, man. DG, in your opinion, what should Maddison, Grealish, and Mason Mount's market value actually be? Well, if football is the way football is, but how it used to be, these men should, all of these guys should be, unless you're Messi and that, these men should be 50, 40, 35 to 50. You know, in the present day, they're all probably arguably valued at what they're worth, man. Really, I don't really know Mount's worth because he's never going to be linked with a move away. Considering Barcelona's situation, would you take Griezmann on loan? Yeah. DG, I'm looking forward to the FM stream. Respect, appreciate that, my guy. Let me drop the Twitch link as well once again for you guys. Appreciate that, man. What's up with Oba? I hope he gets back, man. Hope he gets back. I'm still backing him, man. Just went on Arsenal website to get a ticket for the Chelsea game. Can you believe they're charging up to 95 to watch? To be fair, it's a Cat A game. It's Arsenal versus Chelsea. I hear your frustration, but it's true, man. It is 100% true. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you're not giving me inspiration to part with 95 quid. Like, I cast my mind back. I'm getting flashbacks. There was a period, man. There was a serious period at the Emirates. I think it was under Emery. Last season was bare L's at the ground as well. Like the whole Xhaka thing was one of the lowest I feel I've seen a player behave, and obviously for the fans. But there was a period at Arsenal. I was just going to the Emirates. We're losing every game, you know. Like I'm seeing the same old geezers and brothers, and we're laughing like, "Yeah, again, mate. Yeah, losing again, mate. Yeah, we're mad, aren't we? Like we're mad." Man are looking at me taking out the red enough. I'm like, brother, I need this. Watch until I'm out the ground. We need something else. It's a mazza, like absolute mazza, man. Listen, I'm obviously worried because the minimum I wanted is at least to go into Brentford knowing that there's a midfielder there, there's a right back there, there's all these things. Everything else was bonuses in my humble opinion. For me anyways. Even the most loyal tourists won't turn up this year, my prediction. Bro, Arsenal are still riding off that historical thing. We're still a brand. We've still got some players that are recognized. So fans are going to keep turning. But if they carry on like this, there's issues. I'll say this till DG bans me. Charlie Adams is better than Jacques. I don't think he is, but fuck them both, man. Like, come on, man. We can't be wasting breath with these guys anymore, man. Paying big money to see us get smashed by Chelsea. And that's kind of what I'm not on because it's not just 95, you know. There used to be an advert like that, you know. Was it? It used to say the price of this, the price of that, the price of this, and then the feeling of this priceless. That's what it feels like. You've got the 95 for that. You've got an Uber, or you know, generally oysters or Ubers or petrol. You got the 95 quid. You know, you've got to buy. Well, I buy anyways. A program. You've got food. Now, granted, I'm not buying no food in the Emirates because you know that's too pricey for me. We ain't got enough subscribers yet. But you've got that. And then you don't even really care about any of that, really, because for me, I'm not gonna lie, I understand why people do it in it. I've told you lot before. You know, there was a time where nothing was going right in my life, and I was genuinely depressed, people. But the Emirates is the only place I felt something. Like I used to go an hour before the game, stay until they said you have to get out. Just you know, just sat there because it felt like home. So I get why people do it. You know, people, you know, regardless of where a club is, I get it. You know, man, go to work. Man and women go to work, do what they need to do from Monday to Friday. They're thinking of the game. It's this, it's that. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It's lovely going to sleep knowing that you're going Emirates. You wake up with a buzz. You travel. You see all the fans. You know, Arsenal fans aren't the loudest, but the ones that can make noise are making noise, and all of these things. And it's just that. It's just an L, man. Your tickets were 65. You know what? What? Little 30 quid discount might just you lot are golding me. You lot are gonna get me there, man. You lot are gonna end. You know what? You know what? I might return for Norwich in it. Let's pattern up first in the start of the season. I might return for Norwich, man. DG's FM streams are hilarious. Make sure you're subscribed. Again, there's no telling when it's gonna come onto YouTube. Like, you know, I took a couple of days to upload it. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed to me on Twitch, the Ludiguno. Hi DG from Croatia. We look really good going forward to the box, and I don't know what to do in front of goal, broski. I can't lie. When we get to the final third, we're moving the myth, man. Big up DG. If we've sold Willock just to sign Ramsdale, what's the point, bro? You've answered the question. Of course, Arsenal must be entertaining for everyone but us. It's an absolute mazza, man. Question: what's on Twitch later? Answer from AM/FM content. Clocking. That's my favorite place as well. You know. Appreciate that, Kofi. How much is fish and chips at the end, bro? I remember one time I paid £5 something for a slice of pizza. I finished work, I went straight there. You know, we had work drinks as well, so I'm absolutely, need something to eat. That, I said to myself, I'll never ever be in that position again. Oh yeah, man, it is what it is. Well, FM will be easy. Hardest match of the season gone now that you already played Luke Thomas. He was moving mad. Get to 500 likes. Word 500 likes. Need to appreciate Stylish and AM pushing that one out there. Where are we at? We must be at 4 and some change then, innit? Yeah, 445. Come on, people. If you ain't hit that like button, make sure you're doing that one there, man. That first FM stream was one of my favorite streams to date. Had a smile on my face the entire time. Can't wait for the next one, DJ. Appreciative of that. Still working out a schedule as to when we'll, you lot can just expect it. 6 Cent doing it. But yeah, man. How do you feel about signing Ricky Puig of Barca? I like him, but he's a bit like Sergi Samper in it. The man just got a fetish for Barca, and they're gonna stay there until they're done. The Emirates is nothing to Highbury. It's been the club's downfall. I mean, the stadium's better than Highbury. I mean, not for me, but it is better than what Highbury was. But yeah, man, it's just the fallacy that we were sold. The dreams we were sold go in there. There's been absolutely no point. Right, the pool went there time ago, bro. I swear after the Copa America it was confirmed, man. You deserve more subs. Appreciate that, Aaron. One day, man. One day. God loves a try, so we keep trying, man. What do you mean by breakthrough? Tell me the context you heard that, because I keep saying breakthrough. I'm not too sure what you're specifically getting at. We should sell Nketiah for 30 million, bro. Grabbing 30 million for a player that ain't scored 10 career goals in the senior game is a bit of a madness. I miss David Dean as well. If you covered it, my bad. But what do you expect Arsenal to do from now to the end of the season? Personally, if you're asking me my honest truth, Odegaard. I think they'll get Odegaard. And if they don't, it won't surprise me. But I think that, well, let me say better yet, I think we'll switch our attentions, double down on Odegaard. Personally, I think we'll get in Odegaard and a backup keeper. I don't think we're getting a right back. I don't think a striker is going to happen. So I'd say that if it was up to me, I'd rather the thingy, man. I'd rather the number 8. Did you see Messi tearing up at his press conference? Never seen the man like that. I was sad for him. Same, man. They made him cry, so we need things to happen. Transfer rumors FC says my man. Facts. Do you still do your deluded thought show? Someone answer that. Of course I do. But there has to be some thoughts. And Ketty will be our top goal scorer this season, bro. As long as someone can get some goals, why not? Scroll back, my guy, for the Maddison stuff. I can't lie, I can't repeat. I'm not going to go over them things again. With respect, my dude. If I was Arsenal, I'd be trying to sign Pedri. You got to grab him. You got to grab them guys when they're at Las Palmas. Once they're at Barca, it's a myth. In fact, saying that, they're broke. Would you take Chesney back? The way we are, a lot of people can come back, but probably not. BG, thoughts on sacking Oba completely and investing his wages into someone like Isaac? Nah. If Oba's still doing what he's doing, but I'm backing my guy, man. You've got 3 games. Thought you boys would go after Romero as a freebie and go allow it, man. Who would you like to replace Arteta? I don't know, my guy. I really don't know. He hasn't left yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. Someone that just is strong in their principles with Arsenal. I can sit here and say the established names. The established names are gonna, bro. Look at Conte. Conte just won the league at Inter. The man there said we're in problems. This guy might go. That guy might go. He said safe. I'm not on what you lot are on. That's what's gonna happen. Any manager. That's why Enrique never signed. Conte never signed. Carlo never signed. All of these guys that you heard had talks. Allegri. When it gets down to the nuts and bolts, I don't think there will be against signing for this club. But when it gets into business, how poor the squad is and how to pattern it, they don't want to. Why would you Arsenal need to make it worth their while? Why would you want to risk? Because they'll all take the job or at least listen to what is said. It's Arsenal. But at the same time, you need to offer them something to say, why am I risking my reputation? If I'm Conte, I've won the league at Chelsea. I'm quite perfect here. I'm quite custy in England. And not that fans really matter because I'm Italian. I'm not really with this thing, but I might have a decent relationship with the Chelsea fans. What project are you selling me? Are you really trying to do this thing? I don't know. Why is Oba playing left wing? When you find out, let me know. As I said, I think at least for now, maybe when everyone's back in form, you can try it. It's either Aubameyang or Lacazette through the middle exclusively. Because, and again, Aubameyang is here for the present. He's not the future. We need to get our importance away from relying on these guys. So just playing through the middle. Just play one of them through the middle or not. I don't think we can keep going with this Lacazette Aubameyang thing. Like it's not going to work, man. They've got a good link-up play. It's not going to happen, innit? We can't afford it now. When the squad looks a bit healthier, we might be able to start experimenting, man. Why can we never get our business done early and have a settled squad ready to have a good start to the season? I'm sick of it, bro. You, me, and everyone. Simon, man. If you can tell me that Wenger, Emre, and Arteta have fully been backed by Kroenke, then I'll always be cool with hacking managers and not the real problem. Or we criticize the managers and what they're doing on the football field. We do need to remember, despite that, not to back Kroenke. It's not like we've only had £10 to spend. We spent 70-odd million on a player. We spent 50-odd for one guy that's played a season in the Prem. We're talking about spending 30 on Ramsdale. The next thing now becomes mismanagement. And I'm not saying you, but this is where we need to be able to comprehend as fans. Many truths can live in the same realm in that they're not being backed, but then they are misspelling. But I hear you in that. The culture can never change with another guy, with the same guy at the helm. Because when you look at it, you've had different, Glazide, whether I like him or not, Glazides, Michelin Tat, Raul, Arteta, Wenger, Emre. There's been all the Edu. There's been all these different guys. The variable at the top has been the Kroenkes. So you're right. But that's where fans need to understand there's more than many truths can live in one realm. Meanwhile, Conte is out of club. Conte will find a serious club, in it. Won't be us, but he'll find someone. Or when somebody sacks their gaffers, he'll be about, man. Guys like that are hanging on to what Madrid could be saying, man. Big up DJ had to migrate here from Twitch. I can't stream on either or at this moment, but I'll be back on Twitch at 4:30. So I hope that's only a thingy one day, man. So yeah, it is what is in that regards. Metro reporting we are speaking to United for Jesse Lingard. Oh, that one there is coming back up again, eh? Full circle. Like we know with these rumors, we get full circles again and again and again and again and again. You're right, though. For what it's worth, folks. Let me make a timestamp. And the thing is, I don't think Lingard's a bad player, but he's going to be expensive. Maybe the fee's going to be expensive for Arsenal. If they're probably looking at, well, I would say I'm only trying to get that done for 30. United, he had a good season. So will United entertain that? He's on 100K a week. It's not going to make sense, is it? But, I don't believe the Lingard one, but you can't, you know how Arsenal is, people. Looking at it, Arsenal ready move for Manchester United star Jesse Lingard after slow James Maddison talks. So again, it's all James Maddison. Apparently, Maddison is keen on a move to the Emirates, but he's just a year into a new deal with the Midlands club, and he will not angle for an exit. So he'll ask to leave if it gets to that, but he's not going to burn any bridges and things. Allegedly, Arsenal will now switch their attention to signing Manchester United star Jesse Lingard should they fail in a move to sign Leicester playmaker James Maddison. As I said, I think if it gets to this, we'll go to Odegaard personally before Lingard, but you can't rule out anything, people. There's a game of chess going on between Arsenal and Leicester, allegedly. Gives me a bit of the Crystal Palace Arsenal vibes for Zaha. But in relation to the 28-year-old Jesse Lingard, he's back at Manchester United. He was involved in pre-season until obviously he got, he picked up Corona, but he shunned doing his thing at West Ham. He got his confidence back and things like that. I would look, if I was United, I'd hold on to Lingard for what it's worth. I'd be open to letting him go if offers came, if West Ham was serious, but I'd look to keep hold of him, man. I'd be more trying to sell Daniel James. Lingard looks good for the squad. If his confidence and swagger is back, he could be an okay squad player. It's not, you don't need to move, man. But then again, it is a bit, you could say it's a mismanagement of wages on 100 bags. Keeping up with well, not even Lingard anymore. Apparently, Arsenal transfer chief Edu looking at James Maddison alternatives due to very slow talks. Talks only as slow as you make it, people. Edu reportedly continues to be in contact with Leicester over a move for James Maddison, with one sticking point. The Gunners have already spent close to 75 million on Tavares, Lokonga, and Ben White. Boy, some of that is expected to be recouped in player sales, with Joe Willock, Maitland-Niles, and Nelson among those attracting interest. Scrolling down to actually the thing that means anything. As we know, Leicester have maintained no bid has been coming in. It's not saying anything. Apparently, negotiations are ongoing between the two clubs. Apparently, further talks have been very slow, and they've frustrated Arsenal. And again, if this is your number one target, I don't think you've made more of a you've made the most you can of it. So go after them a bit more, but it's ultimately going to end in tears, really. Arsenal have reportedly refused to come anywhere near close to that valuation, although Maddison is supposedly keen on a move to North London. Arsenal's frustrations in dealing with Leicester has reportedly led Edu into looking at cheaper options, like he should have been at the beginning of the season. But let's see what's going on in that regards, people. We'll have to see. Let's refresh the page. It's just all Joe Willock where we're concerned, people. Personal terms is all Joe Willock needs to do, and then he'll be a Newcastle player. We'll have to see, man. So yeah, I mean, Tammy Abraham's there. I'm not pressing this this Odegaard business, but yeah. James Maddison move slows down. That's that, and it's slower down. Man said slower down. So that's that. 13120. But Jesse, it just looks a bit better. But yeah, that's that for that. Let's keep pressing to 500 likes, people. Because he's going to Bayern Munich, Sabitzer. Lingard reeks of desperation to me. Stupidity, because it's the way. It's not even Lingard. It's just you're going to bring him on some mad wage. It's not going to bang. Lingard wouldn't join. He's had too many fights with Arsenal in matches. I don't think that's relevant. And to be fair, he loves dancing at the Emirates. He might actually light up the Emirates for us. So it might mean something, man. Why is Willock's deal taking so long? Because it looks like personal terms are yet to be agreed. Do you think Martinelli will get chances this season? I hope so. Or again, it's another thing to look at the manager and say, what the hell is going on there? I don't know. Bang is a strong word. Bang for me is getting 10 goals, 10 assists, being a real creator, like what we got. I don't know for Bang. Mr. Well, man said no to Chesney, but claims Ramsdale isn't as bad as people think. Again, I think you're paraphrasing what I've said. I've said I don't think Ramsdale's as bad as people make out, but I've always continuously said I don't want to spend 30 million on him. I said no to Chesney because we're going over uncharted lands. I don't want either keeper. Please don't get 2 and 5 and not get, and not get 7. You're getting 20 million. Don't, speak to exactly what I'm saying. With respect to my views, clearly the 99% of the views you're listening to, I don't think you're taking them in. as you lot know, one of my pet peeves is actually not disagreeing with what I've said, but stuff like that actually telling me I've said things. I never said that. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Let's use the ratio. He gets 10 goals in the Arsenal team, yeah? He don't, because there's no creativity in there. You know, he could be in the 10 as much as he wants. Well, go for the people behind him. It's a myth. As a replacement option for Maddison, why don't Arsenal go after St. Maximin from Newcastle? Nah. Good player, but nah. I wouldn't say Lingard's a fraud. That's a bit harsh. I've offered my thoughts on Willock. Ramsdale's a good keeper. Arsenal are not levels, let's be honest. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. I love Willock. Can't take Jesse after he danced on home turf. But to be fair, you know, he's just doing what he needed to do for his team, isn't it? Really and truly. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. Really is what it is. What we doing for likes, people? As I said, make sure you lot are on Twitch, 4:30, back to Football Manager. Then I think we're going to start our watch parties and whatnot this week as well. But Jesse would be good at Leicester. Would have been cool to stay at West Ham as well. DG1 question: how are every other team getting good deals in the Prem but not Arsenal? I don't know, man. Bro, his Millie Rock was lit. You know? Just like Will Todd celebrating on your ground. I had to, man. You're hitting me up too much, S. You're enjoying this too much. FM today. 4:30 p.m. UK time. I don't know for you lot, wherever you lot are, man. Oh, only thing that will change this season will be the kit's best dressed, worst team in the Premier League. Getting Maddison would be impressive. Get for Arsenal, he'd be crazy to leave Leicester for Arsenal as it stands. Trust. Be absolutely smoking something mad strong. Is the FPL up yet? It'll be up by Wednesday latest, man. Wednesday latest, it will be there, man. So we're gonna cheer for the Millie Rock now. Well, I'm not. Well, I mean, if Lingard signed for Arsenal, I'm gonna support him, aren't I? Like, bro, you lot get too emotional about football sometimes, and I'm more emotional than you lot. But when I upset somebody, dance. He plays for the Ops. He scored at your ground. He's obviously gonna boy it. Same way we're gonna boy it. Guys, 4 p.m. UK means DG streaming Football Manager 11 p.m. Eastern, raw. DG, it's so evident we need an 8.5. Why are we not getting one? If I had the answer, I'd be telling you lot, but I don't know, bro. I really don't know. I don't know, man. We ain't been linked with Max Aarons as well. You're 100% right and correct in that regards. But I can't lie. On that note, people, I'm going to love and leave you lot. Going to get a quick bite to eat. Going to go to the gym really quick if it's not raining. I want to jog there. And then obviously be back for you guys at 4:30. I appreciate everybody who's hit the like button. You know, the engagements has been crazy. The conversation has been even better. And to sit here with 520 likes, as I keep saying, and I say it every stream, I appreciate you lot. You lot make the stream. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans, but there's a lot of fans that are fans of other clubs, but you know, love the game and that. And there's always something interesting to see, man. As I said, I'll be back again on Twitch at 4:30, where just because it's a stream of Football Manager don't mean we don't talk football and the rest of it, people. So yeah, it's just a chance to play it for an hour or so. I'll probably stream for about an hour, 90 minutes and that. I have to go somewhere, but why not, man? Because you lot made it, innit? You lot are like, where's the next one? We might as well just do the thing. Bro, you said 11 p.m. I thought that, but yeah, 11 a.m. if you're on the Eastern time business. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Appreciate that, Maverick. Come on, my guy. Come on. Bro, Kroenke, he's a see you next Tuesday, and it's as simple as that. But yeah, I'm a love and leave.
Against this right back, Charlie.